Salmon gear is a little bit more expensive. Obviously, you know, we try to use some really good gear. This here is a G Loomis E6X rod with a Shimano Dakota reel. I always love using a line counter because I can tell my people exactly how far to put the gear down in the certain position that it's in. And that way I can now key on where we're getting bit at, and so we can just kind of focus on those certain areas.
Sure. Well, and that helps the guy dial in consistency. If he's getting bites at a certain depth on the counter, then whatever this setup is, he can dial that
Absolutely. And of course, you know, we're running different weights of lead to try to, one, give us a spread on the gear, give us different depths, so we can combat some of the things like tangles when we're letting gear out.
Spread them out.
You know, fish grab it, they pull, and it could drag the other next rod down.
Well, that brings up the Pro Troll, right? Because that is whipping around under there too.
Yeah, so it creates some drag, it's whipping around, and it's allowing our, this here's a hoochie spinner that I made, and it gives it a nice action when that flasher is going around in its rotation. This back here is twitching and moving around, creating some sort of trigger for the fish to bite. With these facets, I think that it reflects light that comes down at different angles when it's spinning. Obviously colors will retract and reflect as well. I do like using some of the candy back blades, and they have a nice UV finish on them as well. So we've got some good colors out there. The Pro Trolls, I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. They work very well for me, and so this particular setup here, you know, you're retailing right around $700–800 for this whole setup. Sure, it is
mostly
expensive.
in the rod and reel.
Mostly in the rod and reel, yes. But using good gear, quality gear, that way, one, you can feel the fish, you can bite the fish. You know, you can catch fish on anything, but it's just the experience that you're going to have with better quality products.
Sure. Last quick question. So we do have a leader here, not a bumper.
Yep.
What do you recommend from your Pro Troll to your spinner?
You know, I like anywhere between 20 and 24 inches. That works well for me. I can adjust the way the gear's working with the speed of the boat. Sure. Some guys are very critical on their lengths of bumper and lengths of leader. I'm not that critical. You know, I
because you see how it's fishing, right?
I see how it's fishing, how it's working the currents, and we're out in the ocean. We're dealing with lots of different currents. Sure. So sometimes the gear's under the boat, sometimes it's straight back, and sometimes the gears work in a certain way and at one depth, and then you get a gear down a little bit deeper, it's working differently down there.